It costs you your old life. There's no way to get around this because at the end of the day, whatever you do is a sacrifice of something of the past. So if you've done something, then you obviously have left something behind. So the other day, I listened to a podcast. I love to listen to them when I draw, when I'm doing something productive, or just even when I'm doing nothing. I listen to one. I've listened to it before, but I wanted to pay a visit to it because it really inspired me. And it's about paying a price. So if you want something in life, you are paying the price for it. And this can be misinterpreted, so let me explain. You are not essentially paying money. You're not essentially always paying with your quote unquote soul, but you are doing something different to achieve it. And you are reducing something to achieve it. I'll give you an example. If you want to be a healthy person, you have to sacrifice sugar. You have to sacrifice certain fats. There are some healthy fats, but everyone knows the bad kinds and the ones that we obviously should be limiting. That's a sacrifice in order for what? To get a better body, to get a better and healthier you, I guess. So when I was thinking about this, it reminded me of a lot of things. It doesn't just go to my career, it goes to pretty much every single thing in my life. And I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't take those risks. And I know I made a video about taking risks literally just the other day, but this one is kind of a part two, but it's also something that's more important. What allows you to take those risks? What incentive can you use? And that's what we need. Why should we take sacrifices? Because some people, let's say they argue, I'm not going to sacrifice this, but I still want this. That's fair, but there are some things that you can't sacrifice. I'll give you an example. So if you want to do something that doesn't require much sacrifice, let's say that you want to do content or you want to do something else. I draw sometimes, I watch TV. So I don't have to sacrifice watching TV because I can still draw. But if it's something like my health, I have no choice but to reduce the sugar. I have no choice but to reduce the unwanted fats and just carbs and anything that I feel is detrimental because I'm supposed to avoid it. This is an example, by the way. I'm not saying this is true. This is how we know the difference between the sacrifices we must make in comparison to the sacrifices that we could do, but it's not something that is like you have to do it. But I'll give you another example anyway, like with drawing, for example, or with doing stuff. I still draw, even when I don't feel like it. That's the sacrifice I make. That's the price I pay. And the guy in the video did say something. He said that everything comes with a price. He believes that you have to pay a price for everything. And he also said things like, what price are you going to pay today? When you ask yourself a question like that, it reframes the whole equation because you're starting to think, okay, maybe you're going to be more tempted to get something done. So instead of saying, I'm not going to go to the gym, this is the example he used. He said, what? I am not willing to pay the price today. And that puts a perspective in your mind that, oh, wait, that's me saying I'm not going to go towards a healthier me. I'm not going towards the muscles I wanted to build. This is hypothetical, by the way. And everything we do in our lives is leaving behind our past selves. If we want to go somewhere, we have to obviously leave somewhere. If we want to go to a new place, we need to say goodbye to the old place. If we want to become a better person, we have to say goodbye to the old habits that are holding us back, the people who are holding us back. Everything that we feel is conflicting with what we want to do. If you want to be a better person, if you want to be someone who's more optimistic, you cannot be with people who make you feel the opposite. You cannot be with complete downers and start wondering why nothing is changing in your life. That's conflicting. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to repeat myself because I feel like when I do a ton of these videos, I do eventually start doing that. But essentially, what is different about this video compared to anything that sounds similar to it is knowing that it's uncomfortable. So yes, I've mentioned the discomfort of moving on, but it's knowing that these changes come from you being tired of your own self. I was tired of myself being a certain way. So I was like, nah, we're not doing this. So I had to change. But I had to have a good incentive for that change. If I just say, oh, I want to change to be a better person, what the hell does that look like? Why do I want to change? It's so easy to tell ourselves, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Why? And when you leave your past self behind, it is painful, but at the same time, it's crucial to know this. It costs you your old self. And people don't understand the magnitude of this. If you want to do something with your life, if you want to do something that you've never done before, then quite bluntly, you have to do things you've never done before. So if someone wants to go to the gym, if someone wants to do something productive with their lives, maybe wake up early if you're always a late riser. So yeah, I'm a late riser, but I still get stuff done during my day. And it's really important for us to take this perspective. I'm not saying your whole life is just going to become a routine, a boring routine where you're like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, but you do have to do something to guarantee yourself to get that result. You understand me? And this is what people don't understand. People think that they're just expecting this immediate gratification. Life does not reward that. And I got something really, really blunt to say as well. Life does not reward hard work. It rewards strategy. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. I used to think the harder you worked and stuff, like the more you get. Boy, was I wrong. I also learned this from working myself. Not saying I did such a strenuous job. I know there's worse out there. But it still made me think, wow, if people like this do what I did, and they did something far worse, and they still don't get much, it really isn't about hard work. It's about your strategy. And when you learn about things like that, you start to ask yourself, am I really happy with how things are proceeding, with how things are going with my life? And no one talks about what we're supposed to do. Look, I can't give you an idea. I can't tell you what it is you have to change specifically. But one thing I have to tell you is, if there is something you want and it conflicts with who you are right now, that is the sacrifice you have to make. You cannot be someone who can feel fulfilled in life if you have thoughts like, oh, I hate life. That conflicts with everything. You don't want that. And if you are someone who wants to think positively about life and you're wondering, how am I going to do this? Oh crap, I didn't mean to go this way. That's a way out. Okay, because we don't just change our thoughts overnight, especially if something has impacted us for, I don't know, a long period of time. Where am I? Oh my gosh, where are we going? This is probably the most geographically challenged I've been in Infinity, Nikki, because literally my blinds are not down properly. I mean, they are supposed to be higher up, but they're covering my view and I can't be bothered. So that's why I can't really see what I'm doing as much, especially when it's really dark. Oh no. But yeah, what is it that you need to do? And people take this the wrong way. They keep seeing it as, oh, I don't want to sacrifice. This word sacrifice here is not bad. It's you saying goodbye to something to get something better. If you see it like that, trust me, things will actually make sense to you. Because the problem is we often associate things, as a society, by the way, with something so negative, like a connotation. Like if you hear, oh, sacrifice, you probably think of something ritualistic, or you probably think of, oh, I gotta do something that, oh, I'm gonna be upset because it's a sacrifice of something. No, you're leaving, and it's still a sacrifice. Do you know why? Because you're leaving something you love. If you've always loved being a late riser, okay, sorry, this is too personal. I can't attack myself. Okay, if you if you are someone who's always loved to eat sugar, if you're someone who's always loved to eat unhealthy stuff, and suddenly you're like, nope, I'm eating healthy, you are leaving something you love for something better, a better body, a better and healthier body. You know what I'm saying? That is what I mean. It is a sacrifice because it's something you once loved. And that is exactly why we call it that, instead of just letting it go. So oftentimes people in my comment section, they keep making comments like this. Okay, I do not have grudges against comments, but I say the same thing about comments or about certain things that I'm going to clarify. Okay, if your life is not where you want it to be, you can't blame it on your circumstances and say, woo to me, I have this situation, this person doesn't like me. You gotta like yourself, mate. No one's gonna teach you how to do it. And I honestly know what it's like as someone who has been through those situations. So once again, let me zoom in because this is serious talk. The only reason why I'm talking about life and stuff like this is because I know what it's like to be a deadbeat. Okay, I used to freaking be one, and it ruined my life, and it made me think I'm going nowhere. And that's what happened. And I just realized her earrings don't match or whatever. That's the thing. Okay, guys, that's literally the thing. You can't just keep complaining because no one is going to save you. I've told this many times. No one is going to freaking save you. If it was that easy, it would have been done ages ago. And no one's going to take a hefty responsibility to handle your BS. You know what I'm saying? And this also applies to me as well, because once upon a time I struggled with that realization. And this thing is kicking me away like, you meanie. Ah! So that's what you have to do. No one is cleaning up your mess. No one's going to tell you the answer. Look, even from this video, I can't tell you the answer. I can give you guides. I'm no expert or whatever, but you are the one who finds out the answer. And if you're pissed, be even more pissed until you find the answer. Move while you're pissed. Move while you're frustrated. That's what I do. And it works. It really works. Because, oh, whoops. Because you start to ask yourself more questions that you never did in the past. Like, you actually carry to make things work for you. Oh boy. This is so sad. Oh my. Okay, my jump was awful. I know I could have made that jump, but okay, we're gone. Let's just leave. I've literally got nothing else to do on this game. Oh well. But seriously, guys, don't be the reason why you say that your own life sucks. If it sucks, do something about it. And if people say easier said than done, that's because you're not doing anything. So I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm not here to say it's easy. Life's not easy, and that's what people don't get. People act like victims too much. People act overprivileged. And this is the thing that we need. This is why life doesn't change for certain individuals, because they keep thinking with this entitled mentality that the world owes you. What do you owe yourself? The world doesn't owe you anything. And if you're thinking that it does, you owe yourself education to know that it doesn't. Look, like when I wanted someone to be there for me, I had to be there for myself. I said this many times. Like, I know what it's like being lonely. I know what it's like not thinking about blah, blah, blah. Okay, trigger warning. I keep forgetting to mention this recently. I'm sorry. I know what it's like to not like life. But I didn't just let myself sit there. So whenever I make these videos, just know it came from someone who knows what it is like to just dislike life. Okay? I know what it's like. I'm not just saying this to sound so pretty, to sound like, oh my goodness, I know I'm just this person who can tell you the answer to everything. Miss Optimist, no fam. I've been through the realistic trenches, the gruesome trenches. I know what it's like. And I'm speaking from my own experience. So if people think I'm speaking about life and I don't know what I freaking know as an ex-deadbeat, and it doesn't do anything except make you a victim. Being a victim, it seems cool during the moment, and then you're just like, wait, I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm just acting like a loser. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I'm not here to shame anyone, okay? This is for people who know they could do something, but they don't. And this once upon a time applied to me. So I'm just here to say that you really have to risk your old self in order to get the new. If you want to be a successful person, but you adopt habits that someone who someone with limited potential, you're not in alignment. You're not doing anything. And let me explain something before we get misunderstandings. Success is different for different people. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's mental health. For some people, it's being with the one person who you think is meant for you. There are different variations. So define your standard of success. Define your standard of happiness. And then tell yourself, okay, how do I attain this? How do I become in alignment with that? You understand me? If your standard of success is mental health, like I said, because it's not always money, people misunderstand this, then what would someone with good mental health actually be thinking? They wouldn't just be thinking, I'm happy. They would be thinking, okay, let me be grateful for the things around me. Start small. Let me think, okay, not everything is my fault. Okay, maybe life doesn't suck all the time. Do you see how realistic that is? Because if you keep saying things like, okay, life's amazing, I'm happy, it sounds like positive affirmations. And this helps during the moment at times. Other times, it pisses me off because I can't just affirm on the spot like that. I need to ground myself to actually feel an emotion like that. But it varies from person to person. You understand me? So, yeah. And I really think that people need to appreciate that even more. Because that is exactly what we're in. And don't compare it to society and other people. If you have these standards because this person has it, that person has it, that's not good. If you're like, I want to be happy because I want to do this for me, I want to earn more money because I want to help my family and those in need, that is a noble incentive. But if you're like, oh, this person is doing it, I want that too. No. You need a grounded, personal, and valid grounding, incentive. Okay. That's what people just don't get. So it costs everything that you've been so far in order to get something better. And ask yourself this question, a brutal, blunt question, because I'm feeling a bit fiery today. You're thinking about losing the current you, right? What has the current you actually done for you? Okay, let me say this with the perspective that the current you hasn't served you. If it has, amazing, very proud, very happy. But if the current you is not happy in life and wants to be happy in life, what has it been costing you? It hasn't caused you to appreciate things. It hasn't caused you to leave your comfort zone. It has made you think that, okay, there is something wrong with you when there isn't. You see what I mean? Sometimes you have to see what it does to you as a direct consequence. What has it been doing? So if you're thinking, okay, I'm scared to change, right? Fair enough, because we're just in this comfort zone. We've always been a certain way, at least for a long period of time. And then we start to ask ourselves this, right? What has it served me? And then when you learn, wait, it does nothing. It makes me feel insecure. It makes me feel ashamed. It closes me in. That's when it's going to become easier to change. It's like with a bad habit in life. Like if you're addicted to anything, what has it actually done for you? This doesn't have to be any of the severe types. This can be like any addiction. Like even just watching anime. I've been there before. You know what it does? It kills time, but doom scrolling, that's a good one. Doom scrolling is another one. So many hours of my time wasted for what? Seeing other people be successful. What about the hours I could have done when I could have done something? You know what I'm saying? And my brain is absorbing all of this stuff for hours. What could I have done during that time? And then I ask myself, okay, doom scrolling is fun at times. I don't do it as much anymore. And if I do, it's educational stuff. I think I've mentioned that. But let me tell you, yeah, after being like free from it or even before, I asked myself, what is this actually doing for me? It's turning me into a zombie. And then I stopped because I was like, hell no, this is holding me back. So that's what you have to see. If you're scared of change and you're thinking, okay, I don't want to change. Okay, that's a comfortable, privileged mentality. But let me ask you this. What has this unwanted version of you actually done for you? Is it nice feeling insecure? Is it nice feeling like you are disliked by people when you never have been told that? This is an intrusive fear, by the way. Is it nice to not have your standard of success or happiness? No one is saying you're going to be perfect. No one's going to say that after you adopt a mentality and become someone who's aligned with your goals, that you're just going to be happy. Life tests you all the way. But people need to understand that as a society, we love being the victim. We love being privileged. We love people owing us instead of owing answers to ourselves. And then we ourselves are ironically the ones who are lost when it comes to ourselves. This is society, by the way. So here's what I want to say before I sign this off, because I got to get around to drawing, so I don't have much time. And I really wanted to add this. I hope I'm not being toxic. I hope you guys know my intentions. This is, once again, from someone who knows what it's like to be in a situation like that. If it costs you your old self, right? What has your old self been costing you this entire time? And if you're saying old self or your current self, whatever self it is, the self of you that you don't like, what has it been costing you this entire time? And ask yourself, are you willing, now that you're conscious about it, now that you know about it, are you willing to play victim to that? Are you willing to let it define you? If it's been affecting you for, let's say, 10 years, are you going to suffer another 10 years? Ask yourself that question. If you are, then I guess you got your answer. But if you're like, no, even if you spend 10 years figuring it out, you spent better time in those 10 years than you ever did playing victim.